This is the industrial side. Most industrial businesses are either won or lost in the day-to-day operations. These are conversations with the operators who run these firms, talking about how they run them, what works, and what doesn't.
All right, Sammy and Elizabeth Kaufman, you're back. You want more punishment?
We had such a great time the first time. We're like, let's do it again.
Another one. How are you guys doing?
We're great. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream right now. I'm living the dream.
Thanks for having us again.
No, it's awesome. I really felt like I learned a lot about what your industry even is last episode. Like we had a mutual friend introduce us, and I was like, I don't know what that industry is. That'd be great for the podcast. So the last episode would just basically be like, what do you do again?
No, it was great. A lot out of it because that's the whole point.
Yeah. So I mean, I think previous. If you didn't listen to the previous episode, folks, I mean, it's on the link. It's on the podcast. In this episode, I want to go more deeper into how you actually run your company, because I think that's the direction I want to go in with this podcast. It's just you brought a new perspective, a new industry. I wanted to actually do one. I wanted to do a 2-part series. One, to explain what it is, and then 2, how you do it well. So I think you guys are doing it well, and I want to give you a chance to talk about it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're trying every day.
So the first thing, I don't think we didn't go over this that much, just in terms of like what shipping terms are, because like you're in the process of basically almost PMing the process of getting something from another country to this country in terms of like some sort of good that's been manufactured. And so you're like the project manager, but like what are the different, like, I guess, costs or terms that are in the middle of what you do? I think that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah.
So any shipment has intercom terms, which are defined in shipping on who's legally responsible for the shipment. So each term will tell the freight forwarder, the custom broker, the shipper, the manufacturer, the government, everyone involved in the shipment, who's responsible. And it's important for a couple of reasons. One, if there's any dispute, there's ever a loss, if there's a claim for insurance, you need to define who is responsible and at what point. A few very important terms that we always hear is, one is EX Works, which is in essence door-to-door shipping. So the buyer, which would be any buyer in the US or anywhere in the country, is taking full control of the shipment from pickup to delivery at the warehouse or at the supplier in any country that it may be. So that's EX Works. So legally, the responsibility is from the buyer. Another common term we hear is FOB, free on board, which in essence is another term where the supplier is responsible to get it on a vessel or onto the air and bring it to the port here in the US, a defined location, and then the buyer takes over with custom clearance and getting it out of the port and into their warehouse and forward. And then the last one is DDP, which is door to door again, but in this case, the supplier takes full responsibility for importation, custom clearance, all the fees, all of the legal risks, and delivers it to the client under one price. So that's the 3 separations of the most common shipping terms.
So those are all terms I've never heard of. So I'm imagining like a manufacturer, even a buyer, deciding to work with you guys. Like, how do you even price? Like, because I mean, I would have no idea what any of that is in terms of like to charge a certain amount. Yeah, for your pricing.
No, we're not responsible for the terms. What we have to ensure is the buyer and the seller of the goods define their terms and let us know what terms they're shipping under. So we don't make any money or any benefit from which terms you use. What we use that for is to know who we contact, who is on the bill of lading, who's responsible for insurance claims, who owns the goods, who's doing custom clearance, who's the importer of record. These terms are defined originally by buyer and seller, and their price point in the invoice reflects generally those terms as well. It's going to be cheaper if you pick it up in their warehouse in China versus them delivering it to your office in, say, Miami. So there's also pricing that they can negotiate between buyer and seller.
The biggest thing with understanding what terms you're signing up for as the buyer is that understanding also the responsibility, because that's the biggest issue that some people have. Some people don't want any responsibility at all. they just want the suppliers to deal with it. And then some people want to have the responsibility because they're wanting to understand and have full control. And then that's what we explain to some new customers or some people that we're dealing with, because what happens sometimes is then all of a sudden, depending on the terms, the person's like, nope, not my problem. And it sort of gets stuck somewhere within this whole process. And then that's when all of a sudden demerge happens. And then all of a sudden nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole and the price is just going up. So it's really important for the person, the buyer, and having an understanding of what they're signing up for and what their responsibility is for. And then that's where, like, if we're speaking to a new client, it's not the money for us. It's just the understanding, because you want the supplier to just deal with it. Fine. We'll just do the clearance when it gets here. You want to have the full responsibility. Okay. Now we're going to do the door to door for you. It's just understanding what they need help with, where we fit in, and how we could really be of service.
Like we said in the last podcast, a lot of these headaches could be solved by just talking to us before shipping, not when it gets here. Because we see that a lot where the terms are defined and the buyer didn't know or wasn't clear, and now they're scrambling to do custom clearance because their storage adding up very quickly in an airport because the supplier wasn't clear or the buyer wasn't clear. So it's better to understand what you're getting yourself into before you purchase the goods and prepare for shipping. Can save you headaches and time.
Yes.
So if the terms are, I guess, predetermined, well, if like you're saying, they actually talk to you before and they let you in on the conversation before the terms are decided, so maybe you can guide them a bit. But
100%.
if a lot of this is just between the buyer and the seller, then I guess where do you get your margin from? Like, where does that come from? The part that you make money on? Because I know a lot of folks are just like, well, I'll pay you whatever the cost is. But I mean, you're PMing this whole situation is value. But how do you price the value that you're?
So it depends on where we are in it. So if we're doing the freight forwarding side, then we'll add a little bit to that, right? Dealing with the documents and the filing for the freight forwarding side, because everything really gets published anyway, all the rates. So there's really, it's not so much the money there. It's really just you need volume. It's more of a volume business. And then also the custom clearance. So how much we charge to clear it. And we charge based on our expertise. It's like anything else. We've been doing this. We know what we're doing. FDA, the PGAs, anything of those filings, understanding when it's going to be getting here, letting you know. It's just being able to be a well-rounded, well-oiled machine, and also giving you grade A service. We just provide a superior level of service. And then that's what we really charge for. So anything that's really coming in, it's going to be cleared within 24 hours when we get it.
Yeah, our fees are very transparent up front. So we make our money, quote unquote, not on the buy-sell side of the goods. It's the movement of goods. As a shipping company, we make money on the movement of goods. You can make money depending on what type of movement, air, ocean, or how many touches you have. Am I dealing with it, like Elizabeth said, door to door? Am I doing just the custom clearance? Am I shipping it just the ocean freight? There's different parts that require expertise and labor, and that's where the fees are.
Is it an emergency?
It's an emergency. Do I need it yesterday? Is it heavy? Is it expensive?
Is it a project cargo? I mean,
is it project? Again, there's all different. Are we, like you said, PMing the whole deal the whole time? Whereas it sounds complicated in some, but a lot of this is bought over and over again. So if you're an importer of cell phones, you're purchasing from the same supplier under the same terms, you're repeating orders. Your shipping company will know the practice and the terms, so you know kind of what your margins are and where you make money and so forth from that.
Yeah, because a lot of times what happens too is that people get, I wouldn't say confused, but they sort of lump things together when it comes to the logistics, and they lump in the supplier side. So it becomes like, they're like, all right, so you're going like, we're going to be sourcers all of a sudden as well. And I'm like, no. We don't do the sourcing, but we'll work with your supplier and whoever you're doing the sourcing, because we do work with people that do the sourcing, and then we're going to just bring it in. So we're just working on the movement of your goods. We're not supplying them. We're not sourcing them. We're not buying for you. So none of that is part of under our umbrella. Almost as custom brokers, it would be a conflict of interest. So it would be more of just we're importing it, exporting it, we're clearing it. And then we're going to help you and be your logistics arm, and we'll help, be a consultant for you as well. And whatever you need, if you have any questions, we're always available to our clients. But that's really what realm we're in.
Yeah, and I've been looking at a lot of different types of businesses, and I think when it gets to logistics, there's this like almost the definition of middleman type business that, and you guys are kind of like that, and so I wonder. I mean, to me, that seems very hard to differentiate, like very hard to like market or like show customers how you're different. Like how do you like
a service provider versus a middleman, which would broker between two items. So that's a distinguishing factor that in this business, you could be a broker in terms of, say, truck broker, freight broker, where you're picking off freight on a board and you're trying to connect two carriers, and that's where you're making a little bit of money. So the carrier A is $100 and you're trying to connect it where the actual shipping comes and the custom broker. So we are the service provider. So we give the clients the documents, the right, the ability to go on these massive freight ships or on passenger cargo planes like Delta. That's where our license comes in. So as Elizabeth said, it's a volume game. The more goods you move, we increase our revenue, our profits increase. It's all about shipments. If you look at statistics, how many imports in the country a year, how many exports, how many TEUs is a lot of numbers people use, how many tons of flour in that commodity. It's a matter of the volume you use. Every touch is what we need to increase.
And also the differentiator, right? Because it's like the sales part of it is really just our expertise, right? Because we have an expertise we could do anything, right? We could clear anything just because we've been doing this so long, and we have quite a big understanding and a repertoire under our belt already in terms of clearances. But we have an expertise when it comes to food, when it comes to pharmaceuticals, when it comes to construction materials. We have an understanding by building our relationship in the perishables and understanding what's coming into our parts and making our relationships with the carriers. So we have an understanding also with the CBP and going to these meetings and what they're looking for in different seasons, like we spoke about last time. So it's really the expertise that people are really the sales and what they're paying for. And also just the white glove service. We're a boutique forwarder. We're a boutique custom clearance. So being able to speak with us, being able to get a hands-on approach and being able to pivot and like being very nimble and getting ahead of things and being
communicating.
Yeah, is a huge part.
I think the biggest win in this business is you're contacting your clients before they're contacting you and before A, and B, you're proactive, good and bad. The difference that we stand out from our competitors is we'll call you even with bad news prior to you finding out or anything else, like a delay or something, even though it's not our fault per se. We are compassionate, we're understanding, and we understand that it's our fault because you contracted us to move it from country A to country B. Yes, we're not driving the ship and all that, so we do have empathy, but we study trends around the world, what's moving, what's kind of getting delayed, and try to be proactive. And then we also tell our clients before it's cleared and all the steps along the way. So they're not guessing, they're not wondering, they're prepared. So if there's a delay, they know of the delay ASAP, so they know they can contact their buyers or their clients and start preparing in advance. As long as you don't blindside them and disappear, they can prepare for any delays or surprise. It's not a surprise anymore. It's a delay. Even if it's unforeseen, at least it's known. It's not waiting.
Or most of the time we're able to get ahead of it before it even becomes an issue. So we're just very proactive. We really love what we do and we really love our clients. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I worked for this great guy in the jewelry industry before this. And one time, one of the buyers was just talking a little negative about a client. They weren't having a great experience. And he just stopped them in their tracks because it was like, no, that's not what we do here. We don't talk negative about them. Because I understood right away, because what happens is that just rolls over. You might not even realize it, but that goes into the experience then the next time with the client. And there's just no reason for it, right? Because they're your client and they have bad days. Like Sammy said, they're going to blame us anyway, like 100%, not maybe 5%. 100% out of 100% of the time, we're getting it. And that's okay. We know what we signed up for when we started this business. And we're okay with it because it's like, then tomorrow it's like it never happened, but it is what it is. It's the job, it's the business, and they'll get over it and we'll get over it and we'll move on. It's done. But as long as they are having a good experience, like if they walk away with a good taste, we did our job. I never want anybody to walk away with a bitter taste because at the end of the day, it's our name. Actually, quite literally.
Kaufman Logistics. Yes. The Kaufman family.
It's our name that's on there. It's their experience is a reflection of us professionally and personally, because all you have in this is relationships, with our clients, with the people we work with the people that work for us. It's all relationships. And that's how a lot of things get done too. It's like something happens, we make a phone call. Something's going on with the codes, I'm calling someone. Something's happening with a client that needs to go to the Bahamas, we're making a phone call. That it's all relationships.
We also love the logistics to the point where it's an understanding, and we try to understand the client's business and what they go through on a day-to-day so we can better plan. So a lot of our clients say they love us because we're also brutally honest, good and bad.
Yeah.
We try to see it from a logistics standpoint where we're planning. We're not yes men and women. We're not trying to sell you. This is our price. We'll admit that we're more expensive. We're not a price point. Sometimes we're cheaper. Sometimes we're more expensive. This is the value of why. But more importantly, we're also won't, if you come to me and say, hey, this guy said this and it's this price and it's not feasible, it really doesn't make sense, we'll tell you, hey, this doesn't make absolute sense. We're not going to do it, or we're not going to do it, and you can go for it, but I recommend against it, but I won't sell you this, as someone will. Or, hey, that makes great amount of sense. That's a great idea, and that's going to save you a ton of money. Do it. We'll catch you on the next project. And we're not offended by it, and people realize, and then like we had a phone call the other day, like, listen, when it does go to poop, because we know it is, we're going to have to call you anyway, and you're going to have to deal with it like a fire. And I won't get offended. We're not personal about it because I understand the big picture of what he's trying to achieve. It's a risk mitigation. It's a lot of layers, and he knows it's going to screw up. But he basically said, hey, let it screw up, and then you'll come in like the hero and save the day.
Yeah.
You have it. You said, don't do it, and we're going to do it. And now look what happens when you can't. But we don't go in and also go not a poo-poo. We sympathize, and we try to solve the problem and move on as business partners. We understand it's business. We're not offended. It is what it is.
So let me switch lanes. Let me pretend I'm some sort of like marketer or like consultant that you've hired and you want to like double your business tomorrow. Like, wait. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good, right?
It sounds great.
Just double it tomorrow. Overnight.
All the time.
It sounds like a lot of what works is just doing right by the customers you have. But like again, the part that I'm not sure how, if I were hired to help you, how would I get a new customer for you? That part is a little bit hard because I think you've mentioned a few things. You mentioned the decision making sometimes is about specialization. So like if I want to import some perishable goods from Japan, like you guys are great with perishable goods. Maybe the competitors are more generalized. So it's like, well, you guys make sense. But like in your mind, when you're trying to get new customers, what's the decision points or like the drivers that lead them to choose you versus a competitor? Because as you said, you offer more white glove solutions, so you're a little bit more expensive, but they don't know what that experience is like because they haven't used you yet. So like, what's the thought process, I guess, of your ideal customer?
So sometimes it's not even about the price, right? Because it's always going to be a few, most of the time, a few percentage points here and there. But the differentiator is really, did I even say it? It's fine.
Differentiator is
I can't pronounce it either.
Listen, it happens. It's just one, our expertise, right? Because that's what they're coming to us for. And then also the service. So what happens is there's a wheel. You're not going to all of a sudden change the wheel, because we also work under the government. We're part of working with CBP. So we have to be, like you said, a middleman, but we're not a middleman between people. We're a middleman between the client and the government. Yeah. So there's not so much wiggle room. And in terms of clients, this sale is a tough sale, and it's a long sale. There's not like a sales where it's like, if we paint a pretty picture and we're selling like a lip gloss and we're a little different, it's going to sell. This is like, you're changing a doctor, you're changing your dentist. This is not an easy sale. This is not for the faint of heart. This is someone that you have to, again, it goes just back to a relationship. Can they trust us? Do we have the right information? Are they going to enjoy, for the most part, working with us? Can they trust our instinct? Can they trust our judgment? Can they trust our expertise? Are we going to be executing like we say we are? And that's really what it comes down to. It's a harder sale just because of that. So it really does boil back down to the relationship. Is there somebody else that they could call that has worked with us before?
Yeah,
and will there be an understanding? And just, is there an understanding when we're talking to them? Because that's really it too. Am I saying it with conviction to the point that they believe me?
To add to it, we are tested in this business quite a bit. You have two kind of clients. You have the new client that just started their business. So you'll get their first few shipments and you'll learn together and hold hands together, and they'll either trust you or not. And if they grow, knock on wood, to thousands of containers, everybody wins, and you'll probably be their client. They'll be your client for many years to come. That's the first kind of client. The other client, where you're saying, is we define a client, let's say a food importer from Japan, as to use your example. No one in this business is going to hand you the keys on a day one to all the shipments. How they prove, and how, to answer your question, how we're proved, they give us one shipment or one lane or a few shipments of different types to see if we execute what we say we can do at the price that we gave them. And then you start getting a little bit more and a little bit more until eventually you get all of the lanes, or not. Some people split it for risk factors and also price point. It's not guaranteed that after a couple of years, you're going to get 100% of that business, not because they don't trust you, not because of price, because they can't.
They just use different people
for different voters for different reasons and different.
Or they need a few, right?
There's some
larger companies that just farm out to a few. Like the same thing goes back to just my experience in terms of running the business with my grandfather in jewelry. When you're dealing with larger clients, like Fortune 500 companies, they don't have one manufacturer or two manufacturers. Yeah. Even if they also do it in-house, they have quite a few.
Yeah.
And people are lucky that they're one of the many. And that's really part of it too, is just being one of the sum. It's not like we're trying to be gluttonous and, I want everyone to win. It's wonderful to have competition. It's the whole point. It's what sets everyone apart, is everybody does different things, or you can collaborate on different things. Also, someone I know is wonderful with shipping boats. So I could always call them, or they could call me if it has something to do with food, if they have somebody, it's everyone has an expertise in some point. And yes, everyone could also do everything, but it's to the point that you're going to get what you get. You go after what you can, and you're going to find your flow. You're going to find your sales, and you're going to find the things that you're really great at, and you're just going to keep going after them. And then people are going to also start finding you. And that's how business is. People are going to start hearing about you and finding you. And as long as you're doing the right thing and doing it at a level, then people will start also finding it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it sounds like there's like incredibly high barriers to entry. There should be, because you're like, this is something that probably is the most important thing to any company, like getting the products that they need to the customer. And so you're part of
the whole thing is how a lot of companies, from my understanding, when it comes to especially any other type of product, when people are doing products, is their logistics, their supply chain. If they don't have that down, they're dead in the water, most of them, because that's the differentiator. That's where, all of a sudden, if you're not getting it on time, if you're sold out, you missed your sale. If you are 30 days behind, or your supplier's down, or you didn't get it, it's in demurrage, or it had to go to GI. I mean, there's so many things that happen. You could lose a lot of money in this side, and you don't want to. That is
it's critical for
sure.
time, but it's also one of the places too where you can consider logistics is done best. If we do our job well as a business, you should never hear about us in theory. Planning should be done. We should be able to deliver on time or a little bit early in season. Your warehouse is good and you're still selling based on your timing and your operation. That's when we do best. Also, with logistics, you can shave any dollar saved in shipping is direct into your pocket as profit. What people realize when they do logistics and overviews and we kind of consult, any dollar saved is directly to your pocket next year because it's still moving from point A to point B. Everything else is the same. It's just a matter of saving that cost. Can put a lot of money in their pocket without realizing. Sometimes a little tweak in operations can add quite a bit of margin back to your pocket.
Yeah, except for just an FYI, we don't have nothing of the tariffs go into our pocket. That's just the government. Okay. There's no money being made by anybody on tariffs besides the government at this point.
Okay. Gotcha. No, I mean, I see the value in what you guys are doing. I mean, this is really interesting. At the last episodes, I've learned a lot about this. I mean, I just understanding your business model a little bit. I mean, it seems like it's almost more valuable to sell more to an existing customer than get a new customer, because getting a new customer seems like an incredible ordeal. And so that means, like, in my mind, again, if I would pretend to be your consultant, trying to help you double tomorrow,
I mean,
like I would almost see like M&A as part of this thing, because like, if you were to buy other brokerages that have customers that have already bought in,
100%.
you could apply what you know to those other companies. Is that something that you've been looking at?
Oh yeah, 100% for a little while now. Also, it's just harder for us. It's been a little difficult because finding the custom broker that's either about to retire or maybe, well, that's really the big one, because we know at this point there's going to be quite a wave, right, of the boomers that are going into retirement. And with this, you need the license, right? And if their children aren't going into it, then yes, that would be something we've definitely been looking.
Interested if you companies, your listeners, we're doing, because again, you acquire the company, you can keep the client and add more touches to our current client base, like you're saying, or the longer sale. So I think you have a healthy balance of both. As you get clients, new clients, you're also trying to add more touches to your current clients.
Yeah, it's really any business. It's always not better, but it's always easier when you have an existing client to just, as long as they're happy, to keep that client and business keeps coming in. But you need a funnel at all times. Because what happens is you need to be an octopus. You need to have many legs to have a really funded business, because you can't have just one thing going on. You can't have one client, and you can't have only one piece of the business.
Or vertical. Keep in mind, you should have it spread out to different.
You want imports, you want exports.
Different countries shut down, different wars affect different regions,
different products,
different droughts. You want different products, different manufacturing arms, because that octopus, you're not changing the ways based on market. So if you're buying in Europe and you're exporting out of Europe and you're exporting
or seasons
or Asia or seasons or monsoon season, you're adapting with that. So that's why you need those octopus arms, as Liz said, to get all the different verticals and opportunities to come in. Keep in mind too, with shipping, you need to keep having this funnel, because you're maxed out on service based on how many shipments they do.
Also, that client could go out
more. There's a point where you can't sell anymore. If you do their full door to door and they do 100 shipments a month, that's all you can make.
Right.
So you have to get new clients, or don't expect them to grow, or you lose a client. So you do always have to get new clients and work on more touches. But there is a max in the logistics, because it's based on how many shipments they actually do.
Yeah. And what happens is that it's like any business. You need to always have a funneling coming in. You cannot just rest on your laurels. You cannot sit back and be happy with what you have. I mean, that's just, I can't imagine that. That's just not how I'm built anyway. It's just because there's so much more out there, right? There's just so much more out there. And I also want to build the business so I could bring more people in. I want to get to give. I'm not looking to get just to fill my pockets and my stomach. I want to get to give more, to do more for the industry, to do more for the women industry, to do more for where we are in Florida, to add more value. I want to add value to where we can, to our clients. And the only way to do that is by bringing in more business, right?
Yeah.
Because the more business I bring in, the more people I could bring into Kaufman Logistics.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it seems like you guys are really, passionate. You're trying to do something.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see what happens with it. I guess.
And if you know anybody that's looking to retire their custom brokerage,
Freight forwarding company,
we're all ears. We would love to know.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes out. I'm actively looking at companies for myself. I'll be happy to look for the kind of companies you're interested in as well. Like, I think the number one thing that every company I've tried to buy has asked is like, are you from this industry? So you guys have obviously been doing this for years and years and years, and I'm sure that would gain instant respect from any business owner in the space. So I'll definitely try to keep you guys in mind and forward you anything I can.
Thank you so much. We'd appreciate it. And then we could be like one big happy family too.
Yes.
And a business on the horizon.
Yes. All right. So just like last episode, I just want to leave another plug. If there's some way that you would prefer people contact you, whether it's the acquisition opportunities or whether they might need a freight forwarder, a custom broker, or anything like that, what's a good way to contact you guys?
You could always email us at info@kaufmanlogistics.com, KAUFMAN Logistics. You could call me anytime, 516-319-0180. I know that's like a lot, but you really can. I'm always available. Go on LinkedIn at Elizabeth Kaufman or Kaufman Logistics or Sammy Kaufman. Those would be
kaufmanlogistics.com. Come visit at the website. Give me a call as well, 347-645-8364. We're always available. Shoot us a text, shoot us an email, give us a call, come visit us for coffee, and we'll be happy to ship and give you any answers that you may have in the logistics world.
Great. And I got to make my way to Miami at some point, or Fort Lauderdale.
Really? Yeah. Come golf with me.
Yeah, I'm not very good, but I love it. So.
Okay. I mean, even people that are good aren't very good. It's golf. It's a fun game. You get a lot of life lessons out there. You see where exactly you're at.
I got you. Well, thanks for sharing your time a second time. I mean, I think we added a lot more doing the second episode. I'm glad.
Thank you. Really, I always enjoy talking to you. Anything ever, you could reach out to us anytime, and I'm happy. Any information we could put out there to help your listeners, it's our pleasure. Really.
Sounds great. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your night.